Today, I'll be speaking about hope. I'll be speaking about investing in others, and I'll also be speaking about survival and the resilience. See, most of us are scared of pain. Most of us are scared of unknown. And most of us are terrified by what do we not know exactly. I will share 3 stories today with you, and these stories are very personal. Even though I need to have these cards in front of me, I could pretty much close them and put them away and share as an audience to a speaker, but as a young girl to an audience. The first story is absolutely so close to my heart because it shows how we can invest our life in order to save others. This story reminds me of also hope. When my sister was about 6 months pregnant at age 19, and I at age 11, we found ourselves in Congo, trapped in a war. We were trying to leave the country in order to go back to Rwanda and hoping that we'll see our family again. But the war did not allow us. After my sister had her second baby, the hospital, the same hospital that she had a baby in, the following day, the hospital was bombed. And for weeks, we were trapped in a house with a whole about 15, 16 people. We had no food, we had no water. My sister had just had a baby. She couldn't even breastfeed the baby because she had no milk left in her. And I remember looking around, and I can never really bring back the emotions that I was feeling about that experience, because it's so terrifying to see a mother trying to feed the baby but realizing that she doesn't have any milk in her. It's so painful, and this could happen to anyone, anywhere in the world. Guns, bombs outside, we had no idea who to fear or where to go. But the most amazing thing is that my sister's mother-in-law, she came to the room and she said, "I refused. I don't care if there's guns, anyone's shooting, I'm going to get you food." So everyone tried to stop her, and she was like, "Nope, I'm going." So she walked out and came back with sugar, where we all watched her as she stirred sugar into water and handed to my sister. And as my sister drank, we saw this joy within the room. You see, my mother-in-law did not have to do that. She chose to be able to do that, even guns shooting outside. If you were watching this experience in front of you, not as a movie, will you be able to invest in her peace? A mother like that taking care of her sister-in-law? So that's the first story that I wanted to share with you, how, even in a war, there's love. Even in a war, there's caring. And even in the war, people are still fighting. And if you are watching, will you be able to invest in their peace? Second story is kind of funny in a way. This is when we were stuck in one of the refugee camps in Malawi. My sister, actually at that time, age 17, and I was probably about 8 years old. And my sister loves meat, chicken, beef. I mean, she will go for miles to search for it. Yes. But one of the things that it's so powerful about that love for meat, she pretty much saved a refugee camp. Refugee camp life is not a life that any of you here in this moment you want to be in, even just for 2 seconds. It's a nightmare. You cannot leave a place. You only receive about 2 portions every month. Beans and corn, that takes about 7 hours to cook. And if you don't have a firewood, then you're absolutely screwed. That's exactly what you call it now. So every day you eat that beans, that corn, and there's no nutrition in that corn. So if you like it, your beans taste good, but after every day eating beans, every day, and a little bit of corn, trust me, your body just gives up. And so you have all these different people dying around us. And my sister refused. She refused to see people in that pain. I mean, the refugee camp was probably about 10,000 people from all over, not only Rwandans, people from all over in Africa, starting from Somalia to Congo to Burundi and Rwanda, one place, 10,000 people or more. My sister figured out a way to get out of that refugee camp and go bring people what they miss. So my sister walked for miles. I remember she woke up one day at 5 a.m., walked for miles, and she brought a goat with her. And you should see people's face, so happy. You know, the goat was slaughtered, and I'm sorry for those who are vegetarian, but if you haven't eaten a meat in like years, it's a different story, or haven't seen it. And everyone sat, and they were so joyful. I mean, the meat was cut, everyone's eating. And just this one moment led my sister to go back, and people in the refugee camp started figuring out that they could actually go and leave the refugee camp and go find things. I mean, business started in the refugee camp. And that refugee camp is still in Malawi, bigger than ever, and you find markets. And people do not know how that market started. So my sister, who loved to eat meat, created a space where people don't have to be trapped within that space of confusion, to be trapped in this space of loneliness. And that is just so hopeful and so powerful. The last story that I want to live with you today is it's about me and someone who raised me into a place, and the reason why I'm standing here. In 1998, actually 1999, after escaping the war in Congo, we ended up traveling all the way south and got pretty much stuck. I was called stuck in Mozambique. And in Mozambique, we had been there before, so we kind of knew what was going on. But when we got to the border, they told us, "We're sorry, we're not taking refugees anymore. You have to get out." So we got it in a truck, and the truck dropped us at this market. And I share this story to remind you the strength of just looking someone next to you, giving them an eye to eye, and how that can raise them beyond. We were stuck in this sort of market in Zambia. And my niece was crying. At that time, she was only 3. I was carrying my little nephew, who was about 6 months old, and we were sitting on our luggage, and this market was just insane. And I'm not sure if you've been into African markets. Best place to invest. People will sell anything, and it's amazing, and people are busy. You think New York is busy? Go to those markets. You will see what busy means. And among that chaos, I felt so lost because no one was able to stop and look at me. And that day, I think I remember that's when I was ashamed, absolutely ashamed of what it is to be a refugee, to be countryless, to just being a young girl trapped. And my sister had gone off again to try to find the means to find a place that we could sleep. And I remember sitting there for almost 3 hours as my sister had gone, the baby crying. I couldn't cry because, you know, the 2 of them were already doing what I wanted to do so badly. And this woman came and brought bananas and water. That moment has absolutely changed my life. I looked up to her and I said, Asante, thank you, in Swahili. And then I just burst into tears because she saw me. She raised me. And I will never forget that moment. I will never forget that moment. In concluding my talk today, I dare you and I hope that you raise people's spirit, even your family. If you're walking in the street and you see homeless, if you don't have money, take time to look him in the eye, right? Just take time to be there. Invest in the places that you would never otherwise invest in. Invest in a refugee camp. Bring business to a refugee camp. Change the way people see themselves within this space. We have it all, and we're sitting on it, and it keeps building more, where others are craving to just have someone look at them. And all, I hope that you will invest, you create hope, because hope is not magic. And as well, be curious and willing to learn every day. Thank you.